Today, I'm joined by Nivita, who is a nutritionist specializing in vegetarian diet. Welcome to my show, Nivita.
Thanks, Cholpon. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
You are very welcome, Nivita. It is such a great pleasure to have you back after our first live on Instagram, which I think we did a year ago.
Yes, approximately. It was really good fun, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So tell me, what is a vegetarian diet, Nivita?
So it's a vegetarian diet is just a diet which is predominantly plant-based, and it's different from a vegan diet because you can have animal products, you can have eggs, milk, things like that, but just not any meat or fish. Well, a lot of some vegetarians do eat fish, but like I don't, so I just eat eggs and plant-based stuff.
So no meat, but you can still eat cheese and eggs, for example.
That's correct. Yeah, that's pretty much what I eat.
Okay. I remember you mentioning that you use a lot of paneer cheese.
Yes.
Is it for protein reasons?
Yes, it's for protein. It's very versatile actually, and it's used a lot in Indian cooking. But obviously, it can be quite high in fat. So nowadays, you get this really good low-fat paneer option. So I use a lot of it in my cooking.
And how do you usually cook it?
So you can do so many things with it. It's really, really, like I said, it's really versatile. You can make sandwich fillings, you can grill it, you can air fry it, you can add it to curries, and you can grate it and add it to various things. So and it's not got like a strong flavor of its own. So it just takes the flavor of whatever you add to it. So it's quite nice in that way.
So one thing is paneer, but what other options do vegetarians have to get their protein intake?
There are so many options these days. You can have, if you don't like paneer or if you don't can't get your hands on paneer, you can have tofu. You can have, eggs are a good option. So I have eggs. I add a lot of egg whites to my eggs because they're very easy, high protein, low calorie option. People who come to me, they come to me for fat loss. So you have to manage your calories as well as your protein. So you can't just eat your protein without managing your calories. So a lot of vegetarian food, for example, have some proteins. So chickpeas, people think that they're very high in protein, but to get your daily amount of protein from chickpeas, you'd have to eat a lot of chickpeas. So then that would be high in calories. So you have to manage both your calories and hit your protein goal. So eggs are a good option. You can add egg whites to them. Edamame beans are a good option. Yogurt is a great one. I have a lot of yogurt. I have yogurt like every single day, even in the winters. I just love it. So yeah, that's a great option. So yeah, there's lots of things you can mix and match. It's quite easy these days. It's not as hard as it used to be, say 20 years ago.
So if it is regarding eggs, how many eggs do you need to have in order to have your minimum intake per day?
So I would say like at least 2 eggs and then add egg whites because 2 eggs give you about 14 grams. And I always say aim for 20 grams of protein in a meal. So if you add like 2 eggs and have add 2 egg whites to it, that gives you enough.
Excellent. For example, my husband is a vegetarian and I really have to be creative when we do our meals.
Yeah.
Sure that he has got enough protein intake, and that's why I'm always interested in this subject. Probably you notice that every time I speak to you, we keep ending up talking about protein, isn't it? Is it the most important thing in a diet? Protein.
See, every macronutrient is important. It's protein, we tend to focus on protein for vegetarians because that's one macronutrient that unless you sort of pay attention to, it's very easy to not get enough of, especially as a vegetarian. So obviously if you're a meat eater, you don't need to worry about it because everything that you eat has proteins. Fish has protein, chicken has protein, your lean meats have protein, everything has protein, right? So you don't really have to worry about it. So you are probably hitting your protein goal even without thinking about it. But if you're a vegetarian, it's very easy to eat like high carb foods are predominantly what you tend to eat as a vegetarian. And then if you're not paying attention, you will not hit your protein goal, especially if your goal is fat loss as well. Protein helps in different ways. Obviously, you don't want to lose muscle. You want to lose fat, right? So it's not enough for your weight needs to go down, but you need to hold on to your muscle. So protein helps with that. Also, you don't want to constantly keep eating. So protein keeps you full for long, right? So that's why if you eat a high protein meal, you won't feel hungry and you won't want snack, So that helps as well. So that's why protein is important. Obviously, carbs are important as well because if you, like, you're a runner, right? So you need carbs because otherwise, how are you going to run? Carbs are your body's source of instant energy. We do a lot of brain work, right? And I'm sure you do as well, being a financial advisor. So your brain predominantly works off carbs. So carbs are important as well. And then fats are also important because it's very easy to say, I'm going to cut out all fat from my diet. Like in the past, people used to go on low fat diets because we wouldn't touch fat because fat is fattening. If you eat a lot of fat, then it is fattening. However, you do need fats to absorb the vitamins and minerals and the stuff that you do eat. So every macronutrient is important. But I think as vegetarians, we tend to focus on protein because, it's one of those macronutrients that if you don't pay attention to, you can easily not eat enough of.
Yes, absolutely, Nivita. Going back to fat loss, when I go onto your Instagram profile, I read you help people to lose fat without compromising their diet. What is that?
So basically, it's very easy to, like, it's literally going forward from the point I made in the previous discussion that we had, that people used to believe that, you can cut off, if you want to lose weight, you cut out fat, for example, or you cut out carbs, for example. And every macronutrient is important in its own way. Like, for example, when I was like going back before I understood nutrition, I realized that nuts are fattening. So I said, oh, I'm not going to eat nuts because if I eat too many nuts, I'm going to put on weight. But actually, you don't realize that nuts are so important because they have so many nutrients, nuts and seeds, right? They have magnesium, they have iron, and all of these are important for us as we age, as we live our life. So there's no point in cutting out food groups. So this is why I say, like, it's fat loss, but it's with balance. And it's like including foods that you like as well. That's what I mean, basically.
So, in terms of nuts, how much nuts do you need to eat per day? Let's say 10 grams, 20 grams.
It all depends on your goals, on how, what kind of person you are, how active you are. So all of that. But as a benchmark, if you eat a handful of nuts, that's good enough. I would always combine it with something else because if you're really hungry and if you just have a handful of nuts, that's not enough. I normally say have a fruit with it, or have a couple of fruits and nuts, or have some yogurt and then have nuts. So combine it with something so it keeps you full.
Yeah, I like the combination of adding some yogurt and maybe some blueberries, which will also act as a protein intake, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, and I know you do, I'm always sharing recipes and I'm always sharing what I'm eating. I usually share my meals, my snacks, so that, if someone's wanting to know how you should eat, to maintain your health and fitness, you get an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen your recipes and they seem to be so colorful and yummy. So, do you create
Thank
them
you.
yourself or you just take recipes from somewhere else?
I see, usually most of my recipes are mine. If I have taken a recipe from somebody else or use someone as an inspiration, then I just credit them in the notes because obviously, you're scrolling Instagram, you see so many recipes. Some of them you want to try. So if I find a recipe that I want to try and I've tried it, then obviously you can see it at the bottom. I've credited somebody. But a lot of them, it's like, because in my household, we all have like very specific needs. And we're quite like fussy about what we'll eat and what we'll not eat. So a lot of recipes I sort of curate and I try out things and I think, oh, it might be a good idea to try this out or to add this to it. So yeah, a lot of recipes I come up with because I'm cooking them at home.
What I can imagine already, Nivita, you creating a recipe book for vegetarian diet. I think I would be the first one to buy because of my husband.
That's very kind. Actually, it is something that I've been toying with because I have a recipe book. It has over 100 recipes. I used to send recipes to my clients for a while. I used to send them like recipes every week, and I kept a record of all the recipes that I send them. However, I need to sort of curate them because there's all these different types, right? There are some breakfast recipes, there are snack recipes, there are meal recipes, and I just need to curate them and make them nice. And all the pictures are just my pictures, so they're not like professional. So if I had to make it into a book, I think I'd probably need like better photos and things like that. So I've just never. I think it's a great idea. I think it's something I should look into definitely.
To be honest, if you didn't tell me that they weren't taken professionally, I wouldn't even have noticed. Definitely, you can use existing library of your existing, create something beautiful, because what I find is that there are so many recipes, but your recipes will be unique and you will have your own signature. You know what I mean, Vita?
Yeah, I think the only thing I aim to do with my recipes is A, they should be nutritious and wholesome. Most of them have high protein, except, if I'm making like a banana bread or something, that'll not be high protein. But most of my recipes are simple, quick to make, and straightforward, like with a few ingredients. I don't like to faff about with too, and I just want to be in, make it, and then be out again. I don't want to make I don't like complicated recipes.
Absolutely. Like we say, C is the key in everything, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you decide to become a nutritionist, what made you?
So I've always been interested in nutrition. I've been interested in nutrition as far back as I can remember, even when I was very young. I remember I used to be quite skinny as a kid, and I had joined a gym when I was like 15, 16 with my best friend. And we had no idea what to do in the gym. We used to just go to the gym, and straight after the gym, we used to go to an ice cream parlor which was next door. And we used to we used to go to the gym and we used to eat ice cream. So I don't know, go figure. But I was always interested in nutrition. And then obviously it was just, I have been working out and eating well like most of my life. And when I took a break from my career, which is in data and IT, I decided to do something that actually interested me. And it was like just after COVID. And I said, I'm not going to, because so far I was always studying to further my career. I said, I'm going to do something that actually is of interest to me. And this was one of the things that always interested me. And therefore I did it.
Yeah, because I know you had a corporate job with,
In insurance, yeah.
career, and have been really successful. But do you think you finally found your passion for life?
Yeah, I think, like I said, nutrition has always been a passion of mine and it's never going to stop being a passion. It's different now because I get to help so many people achieve their goals as well. I get to address their issues. Sometimes it's very rewarding. Like if someone is a diabetic and you help them with that, then it's immensely rewarding. You just help someone lose weight without massive restriction, then that's rewarding. It's nice to see. I think my interest in my other profession is always going to be there because like even in AI, there's so many advancements in technology and stuff. So I never like to pigeonhole myself into one thing. I'm always doing lots of things in one time. But nutrition is and has been and will always continue to be a passion of mine.
It's just absolutely amazing. You're helping so many people to lose fat without compromising diet. I actually quite like that sentence. So can you talk me through the process? How does it look like if someone comes to you?
When someone comes to me, obviously we have an initial chat to see if, what their goals are and if they'll be a good fit. Because obviously I need to understand whether if they have, because sometimes people say they want to lose weight and then they come to a nutritionist or a personal trainer. And then if they really are not ready to devote any time to it, then it's a waste of time. Then they're clearly not ready. If they can't, it's not like if you just can't pay a nutritionist and hit your goals. You have to be able to put in the work. You have to want to put in the work as well. So I have an initial call with them to understand where they are in their journey, what they'd like to do. Then I get them to keep a food diary for a week because the whole point is I don't want them to cut out things that they like and I don't want them to change the way they eat completely. But what I will do is then I will give them a couple of days sample meals to show them that this is what you need to add in. This is what maybe you need to have a little less of, focus on these foods. And I give them a nutrition plan, which tells them what they should be aiming for in terms of, the calories, the macros, how many steps they should be looking at doing, how they should be exercising. So it's a holistic plan. And then what I also focus on doing is building habits. So we try and build like good habits and we stack them. So each week it's the focus on one habit. So it's like a 6-week plan. And every week we focus on one thing. And then I give them material on why we're focusing on that one thing. And then we sort of carry on building them from there.
So it's not just a diet you cover, but also a fitness side. Is it correct?
Yes, so I'm a qualified personal trainer. I like if somebody wants just a nutrition program, then that's fine. I can give them just a nutrition program. But if someone wants to, work out along with that and they want an exercise program, then I give them a workout program as well as nutrition.
Yeah, I think it's a really good combination because you can't just achieve fat loss fat loss with just diet, but also combining it with fitness works quite well.
Yeah, I feel like it's very important. Exercise is very important for your overall health and well being. Because I personally believe that I've worked out like throughout my life, well, almost throughout my life for many years. And I think that whilst nutrition is enough to like lose fat, like if your goal is just fat loss, then that's fine. But if you want to look toned, you want to be in better health, you want better skin, you want to eat better, you have to exercise because at the end of the day, our bodies were meant for movement. So unless you are active and you work in exercise into unless you make that a part of your life, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, coming back to exercise, it is quite a challenging thing to accomplish, isn't it? How do you motivate yourself to go to the gym?
So I think that by this time, like I think exercise has become such a part of my routine that I very rarely am unmotivated to exercise, to be honest. But if when I sort of first started doing it, I think if you have a designated time, like I prefer to get it done in the morning. And even when I used to be in a corporate job, I used to probably, most days, I used to aim to go early to the gym and get done for the day and then go to work from there. Or I used to try and squeeze in a workout at lunchtime. But sometimes that wouldn't work if you have back to back meetings. That wouldn't work. On rare occasions that I couldn't do it in the morning or at lunchtime, then I used to go in the evening. But that used to be my absolute worst time to exercise because, like, by that time, your motivation, you've done so many things in the day that your energy is like low and you'd really don't want to go. Obviously, so I think you have to find a good time for you to exercise. If you can't do it naturally, then you should just pencil it into your diary. And once you start exercising regularly, it just becomes such an incredible mood booster and it just feels so good. And once you start seeing those results, it'll automatically become a habit.
So you have to create a habit, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As with anything else, it needs to become a habit and then it just becomes easier. You don't need to motivate yourself. Like, you shower every day, you eat every day. And that's how you exercise every day.
So if we eat healthy and exercise, do you think it will have a positive impact on our day jobs, on our productivity?
Yes, 100%. Because if you eat well and exercise, that's literally you're giving your body everything it needs to function at its optimum.
My husband recently was telling me that, we have a lot of awareness about mental issues and depression, but he watched a video on TikTok and he told me that one of the reasons for our depression is also depends on the type of food we eat. Do you agree with that?
I think a lot of it is, right now there's a lot of research being done on gut health. And they say that the gut health influences your brain directly, your hormones in your brain. And in that sense, there is some truth in the fact that you are what you eat. And if you are constantly filling your body with crap, you're not going to be able to function at your optimum. And obviously, that will have an impact on everything, including your mental health.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on this, Nivita, because if you eat a lot of processed food, then it will have a direct effect on your mood. It means you are likely to go into depression. But
Yeah.
if you try to eat healthier most of the time and you try to fit in some exercise, even if it is walk, like you were saying last time.
I think I don't even count. Honestly, like walking is just it's just such a game changer. It boosts your mood. It keeps you active. You get outside, you get in the fresh air, you get your vitamin D. It's got so many benefits. You can do it anytime. I'm like a big proponent of walking. I used to think when I was younger, I used to think walking is for like old people. I used to say, why would I walk? I'd rather go for a run. At least that burns calories. I used to hate walking, but it's actually so underrated. It's just such a powerful way. Honestly, I don't even count walking as exercise. Walking is just something I do for myself and it really keeps me active. It keeps me moving. It's incredible all around.
Yeah, and of course, you have got a beautiful dog, Sienna. She probably want to go out at least twice a day, isn't she?
Absolutely. She goes for a long walk once in the morning and then she goes for a second walk, which is not usually that long later on in the day. She does need a walk. She's a big dog.
So having a dog actually has got fitness benefits, yeah?
Yes, well, 100% having a dog does help because you can't be unmotivated. No matter how you are feeling, you have to take the dog out. Having said that, I think if you are the kind of person who's always been active, then it's just, it's just easier, because like even before I had Sienna, uh, I was always active. I would go for a run. I would go to the gym. It just, what changed is the kind of activity that I did. Now, like, I don't do that much cardio as such, because I'm just walking all the time. So my activity is already quite high. So yeah, but it definitely helps, because you basically don't have a choice. You have to go out no matter what. Whether it's raining, whether it's cold, rainy.
Yeah, especially, when you have a dog, it means you have a company. Yeah, it's like a friend for life, isn't it?
Yeah, she doesn't talk back. She lets me choose where I want to go. Well, mostly.
And you give orders, right? Sienna, come.
Yeah, you can order her about, well, to a certain extent.
Yeah, especially this time of the year, going for a walk is such a wonderful treat.
It really is. And the days are longer as well. Literally, if you can't go in the morning, go in the evening, just go. So nice outside.
Yeah, especially after you had the dinner, I think it is so good to go for a walk because it helps you to digest your food, come back home in such a good mood because you've been seeing the nature, walking, doing some activity.
Oh, yes, 100%. It's so good. Obviously, I always say that if you do some activity after a meal, even if it's for 10 minutes, I think it's just fantastic.
What are your plans for the next 5 years as a nutritionist?
So my plans for the next 5 years are to grow, to help as many people as I can. There's always stuff to learn in the nutrition space. So to increase my knowledge, even my current program, the Nutrition by Nim method, I've just come up with an update to it. So at the minute, it's not very prescriptive. Like you said, like I'm going to incorporate my recipes in the program, and I'm going to make it better and then relaunch it. So I just hope to help as many people as I can, because my message is very clear that you can lose fat and you can be fit and healthy by having a healthy mind, an active life, and a healthy mindset.
I absolutely love your ethos about helping as many people as possible because if you eat healthy and exercise, you're going to feel good, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, Nivita. I am really looking forward for your new recipe book coming up and for more sessions about other aspects of our common shared themes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for having me, Cholpon. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You are very welcome, Nivita. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Next